Hi, this is Ken Jureski. This is your latest episode of Talking Pictures. It's the follow-up to our last episode, which was our road trip that we went. We left Joliet, Montana, went to Mount Rushmore, swung back through Wyoming, and made a loop of about 1,000 miles. Shot about 2,000 frames, and now we're going to go through the selects and lay them out into the magazine. So here we go. So I already uploaded everything to Blurb. Try to okay. So that works pretty well like that, I suppose, if you need to see my face, which I don't think you do. Okay, so I already did the cover. We have these single page spreads in the start of the book, and I want to use this here with that in the last one. I'm going to go ahead and do that real quick. I kind of got an idea of exactly what I want to do with this issue. At this point, I went through the take. Like I said, it was about 2,000 frames, and I know the pictures well. We've got I think we got 87 frames loaded up into Blurb here. That includes the cover. This is an 80-page magazine, so really we only need probably 50 of these images at the most. And some of these are duplicated in color in black and white. I didn't make the final decision yet on what was gonna work as far as layout goes. But really, when you think about it, I probably had, of those 2,000 frames, I probably had about 200 frames that I liked. And of those 2,000 frames, the wasn't a great take on my part. I probably give myself like a C plus, which in this pandemic era, I guess that's a pass. I got a passing grade, but it wasn't a high grade as far as I'm concerned. So I made my first mistake. I need to delete that one. I'm going to delete this one too. I need to put the content image up there. It's too busy talking. Should be thinking, not talking. It's kind of hard to do both. Okay. Jeez, and that went in the wrong place. Perfect. Okay. Now we're good. Now we can start the layout. So the magazine starts with this really kind of just a touristy picture. And which is fine. And then another tourist picture. We're just making this road trip, trying to discover, see whatever we find. And we tried to stay off the highway, off the interstate as much as possible, and stick to the highways. And once we got off the highways, or the interstate, things started to look up. And you can see we're kind of going from the touristy stuff, and now this is actually on a reservation, and it's not the touristy side of things. I'm going to lay this out in pretty much, for the most part, the order it was shot. It seems to work well that way anyways, and there'll be some Um, some things that'll get switched around, but since it's a road trip, and road trips are chronological by their nature, it's just like what you see is what you see. I think it's okay to lay this out according to the time it was made, as long as the images still work together. We made this trip on July 4th weekend. It was a 2-day trip. Paul Bellinger and I, who you see in the episode before this, and there'll be a link below. So this is kind of an interesting choice here. You go from color to black and white and then back to color, and I really like this black and white version, and so that's one of my first dilemmas as to which way I want to go. I'm going to go ahead and swap the black and white in there. I just like it better. There's no rhyme or reason really to that. And so at this point, we've gotten into Keystone, South Dakota, which is like the tourist town outside of Mount Rushmore. And the president's having a rally at Mount Rushmore on July 3rd. And so this is as close as we can get, and we barely couldn't get there. The cops wouldn't let us in, so we had to hit the back roads and do that whole number to get actually into the town, which, I mean, is crazy. So those two spreads work together pretty well. We did our best as far as wearing masks and social distancing is concerned. You can see these are almost all in chronological order, and it's scary how good they work together in that, just kind of in that order that they were shot. So what I was saying, we did our best to social distance and wore our masks and all that kind of stuff. There's only so much you can do when you're actually shooting pictures and you're out in a crowd, but we did our best. And it's been 2 weeks since then, so, and we're negative, so that's good. Negative for the virus. So now I have, so all these, for the most part, except for that ender and the first shot and the ending shot, everything's been a double truck, and so now I'm gonna go to 2 singles on either side of the magazine, and I'm not 100% sure about this. I mean, I'd like to make it work. I don't think it's going to work. It's a hard decision. Normally, when you get to this point, you can just make that decision, and because for some reason, when you're laying it out for real, those decisions come together. They're just obvious at that point. I'm not 100% on this. But if a book or a magazine is completely perfect, just like a photograph itself, you've probably done something wrong. This kind of stuff shouldn't be perfect. It should be kind of sloppy. So I'm going to follow this up with another two singles. And my default, okay, so like this is a good example. Like these two images should be reversed because you could have both the guys looking into the page, and my gut always tells me to just kind of ignore that and do the opposite. So I'm doing the opposite. I kind of like the way magazines work with a double page spread. You got two different images, and you can get kind of a little bit more out of them when you make the viewer kind of, if you force them to look a little bit closer. So I have two very similar images here, and I just like this one better. And there's no reason to use them both because they basically say the same thing. I like this this image here because it's like public land and it's this beautiful drive in Wyoming. And then as soon as you, and it's pretty and all, and then you get out and then it's, you're back into private property. And it's not like an editorial commentary. It's just, well, it is. Everything is when you're dealing with pictures. But it's just an observation. You go from this wide open space to now it's private property and it's still beautiful and everything, but you're behind a fence. And so as a photographer, you're always kind of fighting against that. You're always trying to get on the other side of the fence. If you're shooting a political campaign, you're trying to get to the other side of the blue curtain. You're always on the outside looking in. And so it's not a commentary necessarily on like the public lands or anything like that. It's more of a commentary on the life of a photographer. Now I'm going to go back to some single pages here, or single photos. And so these could be color or they could be black and white. And they're so good in black and white. This is what I'm talking about. I'll pull this one down here just so you can see it. That's pretty nice in color. And then to have this guy in color on the other side of the page, that's a pretty nice spread. I'm going to go with black and white. Okay, so these are nice because we just got to this rodeo and we haven't worked our way into the scene yet. And so we're going from fences to fences here. But with this little guy here, we kind of break through that and we can get to being one of the crowd, which is important. We're still kind of on the outside looking in, but you can tell that we're making some progress there. So I kind of want to go to this one, but I don't like it so much as a picture. And I'm wondering if we're just saying the same thing with the fence and looking behind people and stuff like that. And I think as an image, this says the same thing, but it's a better image. So let's get rid of this one. I mean, we're fully in now. You can see that as a photographer, it's like slipping into the pool. Do you want to slip in? Do you want to jump in and make a big splash and have everybody notice you? Or do you want to slip in and not make any ripples and just work your way into the pool slowly that way? Both ways can work, but I prefer to just slip in the pool kind of silently. So this image here is basically the same as this image here, but this one's a lot better. I'll show you. Let me show you the one here first. So that's a nice spread and all, and you got a lot of hats. You got a lot of action, but this action really all points to this guy here, and it's a nice enough image. Don't get me wrong, but it's also kind of just safe. It's kind of National Geographic-y, and this one is too. But at least you got a little bit of that tilt going in there that would give your mainstream magazine editors a little bit of a pause, at least. So now I'm going back to singles. And I've got the same dilemma, the color versus the black and white. And I think just to be obnoxious, I'm going to go with the color this time. And once again, I'm going to do that same thing where the natural inclination is to have the guy with the blood on his face on the left and the guy with the tattoo on the right. But I like to mix that up in my layouts for whatever reason. The nice thing in the magazine world, when you're looking at two images face to face like that, like I was saying before, I don't know what it is about it, but it just kind of adds a little bit of depth to the spread. It's not as easy. It makes people think a little bit. So when you're photographing, guys without their shirt on or guys all bloodied up, at that point, you're kind of in there. You're in there. People are ignoring you. You can make whatever images you want. And so that's kind of what this image is about. It's kind of like that other image. It's a lot more sophisticated than that other image before with all the hats. This is just, this might be my favorite image from the take. It's pretty nice. This next spread, so I got 3 here, and I'll pull the first one down so you can see it. Okay, that's a pretty nice double truck. Okay, so let's pull the other one down, That's a nice double truck as well, but it doesn't have the depth of that first one. And here's the third choice. So I'm going to go with the third choice. That's my inclination. I think that first choice is almost the obvious one, and it's almost the easy one. So that's why I'm going to go with the third choice. Now, as I'm looking through here, I've got another opportunity for 2 singles to go next to each other. And these are really nice in black and white. I'm going to take a look at them in color and see how I feel about it. Once again, I just go to the awkward layout. I do like this diagonal line coming here, feeding right into the horse, and then this guy's body kind of feeds into the horse as well. So I kind of like how that works, and I like the color well enough. This is a nice image, but I'm not sure it's a double truck. I'm not happy with that. I'm going to try this one in here. And I think that just works better on the page. I think the other one might be a nicer image, but I really like how that last one works on the page. So when you look at this rodeo sequence here, we started behind the fence, literally, and we worked our way in, which is your goal, my goal as a photographer. And now we're actually inside the arena, and that's kind of the end of our journey there. And so as we're leaving the rodeo, we go back to the outside looking in. And these are chronological. I'm not like, I haven't really pulled anything out of the sequence yet, and I haven't, the edit was the edit. So now we're out back in the big wide open of Wyoming, but we're also kind of on the outside looking in again. So here are a couple choices. I'll pull this one down, and I would say this first one is the easy choice. Okay, so that's the easy choice, and that looks good. Nothing wrong with that. And this is the hard choice because it's not as simple as that first choice. So as you probably guessed by now, I'm going to go with that one. And since this is a road trip, that last one, we had that. It's a beautiful shot. It's go back to this one here. So it's a beautiful shot. We got the beautiful clouds, the wide open spaces, and we've got the iconic flag. But we also have the hint of the road here, and it's a road trip, so that's good. And so here we have that wide open space. We're just going taking that to the extreme. I mean, this is our country. This is what it looks like. This is Wyoming. This is beautiful. And you have the road snaking through there, and you have that one lonely car. This image could work. It kind of just says what that last image does. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 spreads left. So basically 7 images for the most part. So this is my ender. I'm going to go ahead and put my ender in now. And the reason it's an ender is because it's shot at twilight. It's a lonely guy. He's not quite riding off into the sunset, but close enough for our purposes. So that's kind of a traditional ender right there. Before that, I want to go inside that building. And that's a pretty typical bar scene, dinner scene, bar and dinner scene. But just like the rodeo, so we're doing it in this reverse, but I'll click through it here. So just like the rodeo, we had to work our way into that bar before we could go out. And so this is the outside, then we're inside, then we're back outside. And that would be the end of the magazine there. Got 4 spreads left. And so right here, when we go from this wide open space, we got 2 choices here. So to go into, from that wide open country into this kind of, well, it's literally enclosures, pens, that type of thing. That's pretty significant as far as the layout goes. We could go with this one. And this is a beautiful shot, but it's not as powerful as this one because, whoops, just drug it back in there. This one, not only are the calves in the pens, but so are the humans. We kind of build up these walls between ourselves and then put ourselves inside these walls. That's what that's getting at. I want to go to something. I'm gonna put these 2 guys against each other. No, I'm not. I'm gonna put. I'm going to put this guy here. Okay. And so now I'm a little bit out of chronological order, which isn't bad for an 80-page magazine road trip to have one image out of chronological order. And this is a nice spread, so I can't complain too much. And for this spread, it's feels like it's going to be another 2 singles. And this is one where, from a layout perspective, I'm just kind of playing it straight. I'm just going to juxtapose those 2 against each other. And we have 1 image left to drop in. We have 2 choices. So we could move this shot here. We could move that down 1 spread and put this one in there. Which, it's a beautiful shot and all, but it's kind of a big leap as far as the narrative. It's like, why would you go from this to this, right? Doesn't make any sense. Plus, we've already kind of said this with this. So we go from these pens here and the lines and the separation. Get rid of this. And we drop this one in there, which also has that separation, but also makes a lot more visual sense as far as our narrative is concerned. So that's the magazine. There'll be a link below if you want to take a look at it in the real world. And make sure to watch the episode before this. There'll be a link below there too. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed that a little bit. Thanks. Bye-bye.